Simi, get serious. We're recording. It's so hard to be serious with you.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. We are here. Simi and I are here to have a chat with you about the upcoming Lionsgate Mystic Within retreat that's coming up in August. But more than that, to really delve into the pillars of that retreat that are not just pillars for this upcoming experience within the retreat, but pillars that we're exploring in our own work and on a wider consciousness level, how we're shifting so dynamically at this minute through our inner work and creating this new dimensional reality that's springing up around us. So I'm very excited to have this chat with you, Simi, and very
Me
honored to have you
too.
here. And
Thank you,
you're
darling.
and you're
Look,
rocking a fresh haircut
I
tonight.
am to with our Leo Lionsgate retreat. I've got a new mane.
It's
It's
gorgeous.
good,
It's flowing
babe. It's a lot of hair that's gone.
and looks
It's
looks
kind of
punk
like
rocky.
Vince Noir from the Mighty Bush. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that that rockin'
Named my cat
style.
after him, so you know I do love it. Speaking of intergalactic, that's an intergalactic show.
That's pre-retreat watching. An
Yes.
oldie but a goodie. But we're tuning in because we really wanted to go into the first activation pair that we've downloaded for this retreat, which is dying to self and rebirthing into wholeness, which is just
Light
a
work.
small little activation we've got happening here. And I think the potent medicine for me in the dying to self part, which I'll just share on a little bit before we hear about the rebirthing through movement with Simi, is that the structure of our reality becomes so fixed and so closed in the way we perceive the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that we engage in for our survival mechanism to be switched on. So we go through these patterns of reality where we're just treading water on the surface level of our existence in a closed pattern of experience because we're always making the same choices. We're always fearing the same experiences from happening. We're always feeling the same level of pain around what it is that feels most unloving, unknown, or makes us feel most unworthy. So we've concretized our reality and made it so firm in so many ways out of that fear of really the unknown of what's on the other side. So the birthing into or the dying into ourself that allows the rebirth is really the state where we become a fluid being in our reality. So we drop the constructs that hold us tight and we allow ourselves to feel into the space of absence. So
Mm.
we create this absence in our life where we're no longer committing to those patterns. So that presence that was holding us so firmly seems to die back into the void of the quantum, and we have an opportunity to be born again in more presence. And what is so potent in that experience is when we allow ourselves the surrender into the death, we have this ability to access more consciousness and more information and more downloads and more awareness on a wider level of reality. Because in the unconscious closed reality state, we're just looping on the same stuff over and over and over again.
Mm.
So, learning the art form of dying to the spaces that we feel most stuck in, and it's a beautiful process, but it's intense. We have to sit with the pain. We have to sit with the fear. We have to unravel that grip that we have on our existence, which is actually killing us internally.
Mm.
Because the more we're holding on, the more that grip is just draining our life force into these reality patterns. So when you die, you're actually going into a state of liberation
Mm.
because you're no longer in that state of the death form of
Mm.
the grip, which is
Mm.
what kind of we've been born into in this society, right? Like the domination and control that keeps us rocking in the same patterns. And we're liberating from that. We're breaking out of that into that
Mm.
new state of being. So the dying to self is so critical an art form to really be brave enough to move out of those patterns into something that's the unknown, but also rich with so many potentials and possibilities that we just upgrade into a new level of access.
Mm.
So it's amazing work. It's big work, but it's
Big work.
really potent work at this time to have that release and that surrender.
Mm. Absolutely, because I think it was on the last retreat and I was talking to one of the girls and I realized, so many of us are living afraid of death and
Mm,
like living trying to avoid pain. Like just the whole purpose of living is just to avoid pain. And pain is inevitable, death's inevitable. So if we can surrender to it and actually go there, then we can truly live from who we really are, not in that avoidance pattern or trying to escape something that's inevitable, but actually facing it and moving through it anyway. So I really got that on the last retreat we did on the last day. It was on the last day I had the conversation. I was like,
mm.
oh, I get it.
Because that fear of dying is actually life dying in every moment. Like it's actually tuning into that moment that the more we separate from ourselves to that future moment when we're going to physically, dissolve, the more we're suffocating our life essence because we
Mhm.
can't actually be in the moment to moment expression of it because we're living in a state of fear. And I
Mm.
think a really big piece in this, which is really exciting because we're going into the Lionsgate portal, is
Mm.
that the dying to self allows us more multidimensional knowledge of actually the fact that we are eternally conscious and that expression will take many forms.
Mm.
But it's not just this physical form that we need to grip hold of, because when we sink deeply into that connection, which we'll be doing on the retreat, we'll be opening that pineal space and really going full pelt into the access that's available for us to move beyond just this physical form and to know all forms. And from there, we can know that it's safe. It's safe to live because we've died a thousand infinite deaths. And from that space, then we can be really alive in the moment.
Mm.
So I think that's the
Mm.
beautiful gift. And I'm so excited that you're going to be there to hold the space for people to move that through their bodies, to
Yeah.
actually birth that through their bodies. So I'd love you to express what that
Mm.
process will be like, rebirthing to wholeness.
So dance has always been my medicine. And at the ripe old age of 43, I'm finally owning that. Even though, I always used movement, my whole life I've used movement. And I've come to realize that it's such a powerful way to let your consciousness witness what's going on in the body and what's going on in your life, because it's such a reflection and it reveals so much to us when we allow ourselves to let energy move. So with the rebirthing, I did dance movement therapy for a year in Melbourne in my 20s. And I was like, why am I doing this training? It's because I knew that dance is such medicine. And so with that process and with that, after we've gone through your beautiful meditation, this pillar that immediately came to me as we were kind of mapping out what we were going to do, I just realized that, that cathartic experience of actually creating our reality through movement. Like I know that the way we move is the way we create. So, how we move our bodies and how we weave energy through our field actually really does birth realities when we're doing it
Mm.
from that space of organic movement and from that space of meditation and what I call the felt sense. We call it the felt. So just dropping into like neutrality. And a lot of the time we have our eyes closed with the movement work. So it's not, we're actually birthing from within. So like what you were saying, letting go of that external world and how it's actually reacting with us, we're actually birthing from the inside out. through moving our body, through energy getting moved. Sometimes there's visuals, or, you know, the music will spark a memory, but always the music is chosen with that in mind. It's very intuitively done, and it always seems to be perfect in what we've done so far of
It's got magic.
yeah, just that very powerful process of a definite beginning, middle, and end, and something that can be reflected on. And really, I think a lot of insights get gleaned from that movement, and it's in the body as well, in our meat suit, which is where we want
Yeah,
it.
which is the
Yeah.
temple, right? Which is where we want to be activating. So we can have these huge awarenesses, but this is where we are. This is where all power comes from this now expression in this now moment, in this experience of this physicality. And so anchoring all that, you know, that divine knowledge and consciousness through the body, through movement, and through that expression is, I think, a tremendous gift,
Mm.
to have that really switched on and tuned in. So I'm
Mm.
so
And we don't move
excited
enough.
for that. No, we
We just
don't.
don't move enough, you know, like,
Yeah, the cathartic nature of the movement is just so, I mean, at the last retreat, just the amount of emotion that was released through the body and through the cellular being from that space was incredible. But Simi,
mm.
I am so excited to do this with you, and I'm so excited to have you on retreat. So I can't wait to see you then.
I'm so excited, babe. Thanks for this little chat. I can hear your little ones
They've
calling
just
you. So,
arrived home. Okay, lots
okay,
of
darling.
love.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.